We always hear about plastic in the ocean, chemical spills in the ocean, stuff like that, but we never or at least the news that I look into or social media that I follow, I've never seen anything talked about on the pharmaceutical side of those drugs entering the waters and now it being part of the ecosystem and the fish.
Yeah, so I mean, to touch on what you said first there, it's like when we think of water quality, like you said, plastics, we can see that. We can see an algae bloom. We can see all these other things that are really visible, and we go, okay, that's a threat, that's an issue. But these small contaminants, pharmaceuticals, you look out in pristine water, it looks pristine, but those drugs, they're there. One of the drugs, like let's say a drug type that we find a lot of are anti-anxiety medications. So drugs for depression, for OCD, some stuff even as intense as like for schizophrenia. And we found a lot of those drugs. So one fish in particular that was really contaminated had 17 different drugs in its system,
Mm.
eight of which were anti-anxiety drugs of a different sort. And some of those were above a level that could cause an effect. So like when a doctor would prescribe you medication, they're looking at, the recommended dosage so that it reaches a certain concentration in your bloodstreams, then the drug actually does something. So some of those drugs that we found in that fish were over 300 times what you would look to have in your own blood. That, and it's crazy. And then we actually do know a lot about what these anti-anxiety drugs do when fish are exposed, because they actually change behaviors. And that's one of the interesting things about pharmaceuticals. You're not killing a fish that's exposed. It's not like some other sort of contaminant, but it has these smaller, more subtle changes like in behavior that can really affect the whole population.